I'm sure that most of you are attempting to wade through the deluge of news regarding the United States election, which is happening tomorrow, but I am here to bring you a different kind of news. We have a slew of things that have come out over the weekend, and I'm going to try something a little bit different for this channel, which is more of a weekend roundup of sorts of news, just a fast blast of everything that happened over the weekend. So let's go ahead and do this. As always, be sure to throw us those subscribes, the likes, the comments, and visit Criticless.com. We are an entertainment reviewing platform for reviewing movies and television shows. So hop on, drop a review, let us know what you've been watching lately, and make a few friends. Most importantly, do that because we have an awesome group of people, because this is a place for reviewing movies for the people, by the people, not about critics. Yes, we have some, but it's about regular people reviewing things. But let's go ahead and get into the news of the weekend, because there was a lot starting late on Friday, and it just kept on coming, which is honestly a little bit rare for the entertainment industry of late, and it all got buried. But so the first bit of news here is that we have a trio of live action, yes, I said live action Lego movies that are in the works, and it is having quite a slew of directors attached to all of these, which is Patty Jenkins, Jake Kasdan, and Joe Cornish. Now, all three of those names might or might not sound familiar, but without a doubt, you have either seen or at least know of the movies that all of these people have put out. Patty Jenkins did the Wonder Woman series, one of which was great, the other was awful. So this is a toss-up as to if this movie is going to be good or not. As far as Jake Kasdan, he did the new Jumanji movies, so they're okay, not bad. And then we've got Joe Cornish. He is the name that I am actually most excited about on this list, and probably the least known. He did Attack the Block, which is a fantastic and really fun film. I highly recommend you check it out. He's more of a British director and just does different things than these other two folks. But I think that the biggest thing to take away from this is the live action component. I don't know that live action is where Lego movies are going to thrive or what people really want. So I'm really interested to see what these guys are working on. And apparently it's not just the directors that they have tapped for this movie. Apparently scripts are already in the works, and they have actually announced the people attached with it. But what it says is that plot details are being kept under wraps, but Deadline Reports does reveal the writers of each film. Jenkins was written by herself and former DC Entertainment President Jeff Johns. Kasdan's was written by Andrew Mogul and Jared Paul, based on an original idea and previous draft by Matt Midler and Kim Burrows, but it does not say who those two what they were attached to. But then we have another one that has Heather Ann Campbell, who was attached to Rick and Morty and One Punch Man, and that's Joe Cornish's film. So honestly, the writer and director of his film are the most exciting of this bunch for me personally. So I would say when being on the lookout for when they start announcing things about this movie, the casting, all of this, the movie to watch is going to be Joe Cornish's movie. The other two are a real toss-up. Jake Kasdan, don't really care. The Jumanji one's meh, and then Patty Jenkins, it's really just kind of a toss-up. She seems to have been having a little tough go of it in the industry of late. So I would say to watch out for Joe Cornish's live-action Lego movie, but let me know what you think down in the comments below. If a Lego live-action series of movies is a good idea, I wonder if these are going to be connected, what the game plan is. Obviously, with Lego, it touches on every franchise known to man, and the original Lego movie was actually phenomenal, and one that a lot of people didn't see, which was the Ninjago film, was actually quite good as well, and it went really missed compared to like the Lego Batman movie, which I thought was fine. But anyways, trio of Lego live action movies coming down the pipe. This is interesting at the very least. The next piece of news is that we have Tom Cruise doing a Days of Thunder sequel. So they're apparently considering and working on this. It's not set in stone, but one thing that did jump out is that it is saying that this is a top priority for Paramount. So apparently that is good news, at least as far as Top Gun 3 coming out and then working on this. Now, if you don't know anything about Days of Thunder, this was Tom Cruise's NASCAR film. I actually have already reviewed it, and we reviewed it on this channel, so go ahead and watch that video if you want to see a review of this movie. We actually all ended up having a blast. This is a early 90s, very 80s-esque kind of vibe movie, and the long and short of it is this is basically Top Gun with race cars and a little more irreverent, and honestly, it was a blast. I had a lot of fun. It's really funny. It's a good time, and one of my more favorite Tom Cruise films, honestly. So I would say to check out Days of Thunder. I think it's really great, and this is one of those that the critics loved, but audiences seem to like a lot. So them working on a sequel is not technically a surprise. Now, the one thing that does surprise me about this a little bit is just the fact that NASCAR is really dwindling, and maybe that's why they're wanting to do this, is because NASCAR hasn't been doing that well. This film was filmed around where we are located in Criticless headquarters, and where I've been, born and raised, around in the Charlotte area in North Carolina. This is kind of NASCAR country, but I have noticed a steep decline in the passion over NASCAR over the years, and it just is not nearly as big as it used to be. So maybe they're wanting to do this to help kind of jumpstart and kick off and make NASCAR a little more popular again. So it does make sense, and it makes sense that Tom Cruise is excited about this. It's a fun, good movie, and I would say for them to go for it. I mean, why not? He's kind of wrapping things up with the Mission Impossible series, and so it would make sense that he's working on to other things, but it's just funny that he is just doing more and more sequels of things that he has worked on forever. I mean, Mission Impossible, Top Gun, and then with this and with Days of Thunder. So I would recommend checking out Days of Thunder, though, and I am curious about this movie, and honestly, I'd definitely check it out. Tom Cruise really doesn't do many bad movies. At the most, they're like mid, but they're usually pretty exciting and fun. So I'll definitely check out another Days of Thunder if they do end up making it. Tapped into that little bit of news there, I just wanted to mention is that Mission Impossible 8's budget has gotten out, and yes, you're seeing that number on screen, right? $400 million. It is looking like this movie is already somewhere in the $400 million range to make this film, and the last one was considered a bit of a failure considering that it only grossed around $567 million worldwide, being that the budget of this is $400 million, and that is most likely not including the marketing budget. I mean, I'm sure it's not because they haven't even marketed it yet, so we're talking about a substantial amount more than that, so it has to do much, much better than the previous film to be considered a success, or even just to be financially responsible. So this is not, I think, not really great news for this movie, except for maybe just the people viewing it if there are $400 million worth of money on screen. But I don't know if that's going to be the case. That's very hard to do. And as we've seen with these movies with inflated budgets, it is very rare for the budget to match up to what is on screen. But with Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible, if any movie was going to do it, I would say that it is going to probably be one like this. I will watch it. I actually loved the last one, so I'm excited to see this one. Now, on to the next piece of news here, and it's that we have news about the Pooniverse. Yes, we all know about Pooniverse. Yeah. The naming of this is wild, but if you don't know anything about the Pooniverse, it is connected to the Blood and Honey series, which there was Winnie the Pooh 2 and Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. They seem to be of varying degrees of what people enjoy. We haven't had a ton of people review the second one, and we're at 9 voters, so one more will put us over to getting an official score. We only have one heinous in here, we have a bogus, but the rest are honestly rads and even some most excellents, and then we have a decent. So maybe the second one is better. It sounds like the first one was not too great, Blood and Honey. We are sitting at a 21% bogus, which is 2 points away from being a heinous. So apparently this movie was not great, but it was kind of a proof of concept more than anything and what this world was based off of. But the news here is that Robert Englund, who is known for the Nightmare on Elm Street series, is going to be involved with the new film, the Pinocchio film that they are making. And this is Pinocchio Unstrung. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you guys was this little image here, which is the practical effects of Pinocchio on screen, and honestly, it looks really cool. Some of these practical effects are getting quite good, and you can see the eyes moving, the mouth. There's a lot of expression within the face of this Pinocchio, and it looks pretty cool. I think it will probably be some sort of combination of practical effects with digital effects, hopefully more practical, simply because these movies don't typically have the budget to really carry a lot of good special effects. So there have been multiple movies in this franchise at this point, and they are slowly building it out. This is kind of part of this indie revolution that we are seeing, where these bootstrapped films are doing fairly well just because they're really low budget, and even if a small amount of people see them, it's considered successful. So this world of the Pooniverse goes on, and they're getting some star power, at least some horror star power. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think about this series and franchise. franchise as a whole, it's wild and fascinating to me. I haven't seen any of them, so, you know, Now, next piece of news here, which I am not super excited about, honestly, is that Ridley Scott says he is working on another version of the Alien franchise, because why not? We just got Romulus, which I loved. It's probably my movie of the year. I thought was fantastic, and it's looking like we're getting a sequel to that. But honestly, I think Ridley Scott is a bit mid. His movies are fairly boring quite often and put me to sleep. So there's that. I know it's a spicy hot take, but he's just kind of okay. Sorry, not sorry. Anyways, yes. So the word on the street is that basically due to the success of Alien Romulus and now the Alien Romulus 2 that we should be getting, he is working on one as well. And in this article, it talks about basically how he wished that he had tied down this franchise and that no one else could mess with it, and he had kept the reins on it. Honestly, I don't wish that he had, because I think that this series tends to thrive when he's not involved. So, you know, that's personal opinion. I know, a little bit spicy, but it is what it is. I am on board for Fede Alvarez being the person who takes the reins of the franchise, because he did a great job with Romulus. He should be attached to 2. But the interesting thing is, and I've mentioned on this channel before, we are also getting an Alien television show on FX this next year, so I am curious about that. But this just follows in suit with Hollywood and not being afraid to beat a dead horse, or more importantly, Ridley Scott not to, because it seems like he just keeps wanting to work in the same franchises. We're getting another Gladiator soon, and so I don't know. We'll see how that movie is. I'm not extremely excited, to be totally honest. And the very last piece of news, which many of you will be very excited about, is that there is another Godzilla film on the cusp of being made. From the sounds of it, they released this little teaser here of the emergency announcement, which is just that a new Godzilla film is in production, and it's by the same team that did Godzilla -1, and, you know, they'll let us know soon when more is found out. But this movie did really well. This isn't a surprise to anybody. They teed up a sequel. I thought the movie was fine. I'm one of the few people who is not over the moon about it. It was okay. It was all right. Not a bad film, but it didn't blow me away. I'm more for Universal, or not. Who is Legendary's Monsterverse? Yeah, I'm more for the Monsterverse, but that's just me. I think it's fun and cheesy and hammy, which is how Godzilla should be. This movie took itself very seriously, but then at the same time, it didn't at parts, and it was just jarring for me. It didn't work as well for me personally. Wasn't bad, wasn't great for me. It was just kind of okay. But hey, I know a lot of you will be very excited that there's another coming, and I am sure that I will watch it. So this isn't me complaining about another one of these being made. I hope it's great, and I hope they lean a little bit more into the cheese for this series. But anyways, that is your news, and it was a lot of it. So let me know which one was the most interesting down in the comments below. Let me know what you think about all of this. I definitely plan on keeping an eye on these live action Lego movies, because to me it honestly is a little worrisome, but this Joe Cornish thing at least has me a little excited. And the other big piece for me was the Tom Cruise stuff, because I am totally and completely on board with the Days of Thunder sequel. But I hope that everybody has had a great weekend, and I wish you the best over the next day or so. I do not know about what I will do with videos tomorrow, with it being election day and all that stuff. There won't be much news. Maybe I'll drop a review or something, but make sure to visit criticless.com, give us a download, go make some friends, and review something, most importantly, and give us that sub down below. Everybody take it easy. Later.